I just got the Sigma 16mm F1.4. I already have the Rokinon F2, both the Sony E mount. Let's compare. First off, thanks for watching today, I do appreciate it. Help me grow this channel, hit that subscribe button down below, I would appreciate it. And on to the video. So first off, initial impressions with this lens. As with every other review, it feels and it works and handles amazingly. Build quality is fantastic, much like the Sigma 30mm F1.4. Apart from this one, you have a much bigger focus ring and a focus ring that works, which is a huge deal. The lens's mount is obviously metal. The rest of the lens is brushed metal and plastic. Very good build quality. That is a beautiful, beautiful lens. Look at the front. Look at the black text, black on black. Oh yeah. Manual focus ring, that works. If anybody had the Sigma 30mm F1.4, they would know that the focus ring, although it does focus, it is awful. Focus by wire on these lenses. This one works great. The Sigma 30mm F1.4, not so much. 1.4 bokeh is, as you would expect, buttery, buttery smooth. 1.4 is really, really wide for an f-stop, and as you can imagine, it looks beautiful. Here's some stuff with the f1.4 now. Now to compare these two. First up, Sigma comes boxed like this, and the Rokinon comes boxed like this. The lenses aren't inside, don't worry. This is obviously a 12mm lens and this is a 16mm lens. Only 4mm of difference. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is quite substantial. Here's an example of a 12. And a 16. And now side by side. Here's some other tests I did with some photos. It's actually quite significant, as you can see. Here's an autofocus test with the Sigma. Yeah, it's quick. It's just as quick as a Sony native lens. And here's an autofocus test for the Rokinon. I'm just kidding, it doesn't have autofocus at all. That is the main difference between these two lenses. So obviously the big deal here that this one has autofocus, this one does not have autofocus. When I first got this lens, I was really impressed with it. Manual focus wasn't a big deal for me. I kind of put some little marks on it to show where my focus points were, and I dealt with it. But it started to become a problem. I wanted something that was a run and gun. I needed basically autofocus. I wanted to be able to put it on a gimbal and not have to worry about focusing as I'm kind of wiggling, moving the gimbal around. So that's why this guy stepped in. The autofocus is just as quick as a Sony native lens, and I mean that honestly. I have a few other Sony lenses. The main one I use is the 85mm, the F1.8, the newer version, and it's just as quick as that, honestly. Low light difference. So this is an F2. This goes down to a beautiful F1.4. Doesn't sound like a lot of difference, but I want to show you what that difference would actually be in exactly the same lighting situation. So it doesn't sound like a lot of difference, but as you can see, it clearly is. lower f-stop 1.4 versus the 2, this being the much better in low light lens. So build quality of these guys, they're both very well built. Probably the Sigma is a little bit well built than the Rokinon, although this is made out of, I think it's made out of metal, but if not, it's a really well made plastic. Both very well built. This is a lot heavier. Both have very smooth focus rings. I would say the focus ring on this is actually a little bit smoother, a little bit firmer, which I kind of like. This is loose. Some people may prefer it. I prefer the focus ring on this. So obviously very different in size. Here's a comparison in size so you can see. And yeah, the weight. So if you are putting this on a gimbal, you are gonna need to balance it differently, quite substantially. This comes in at 405 grams, and this comes in at 245 grams. So about 200 grams difference for this guy, and you can definitely feel the weight increase. For me, the heavier the lens, the more sturdier it kind of feels anyway. Price of the lens, so they are different in price. The Rokinon is $324 on B&H right now, which is US pricing. This is $449 on B&H right now. You can get the Samyang version of this as well, which is pretty much identical, the same lens, just differently branded. This one being $120 more. Is it worth it? Well, in my opinion, for the autofocus, for the reason I needed it, 100% yes. Autofocus for $120, yes please. Big difference, but not a lot of cost. So my conclusion for having this versus this, few mil of difference in the focal length, for the cost, and for the fact that it does autofocus, this will be the lens that I would go for 100%. For videos like this, for run and gunning, for stabilizer, I can use this for so much more. This will work for the same purposes, but I have to manual focus too. You may be wowed by it to begin with, but the annoyance of not having autofocus might start to kick in shortly, and you'll end up selling this to buy this. Thanks for watching today, I appreciate it. If you like this video, hit that like down below. It does help with all those weird YouTube algorithms. It helps boost the video, helps me get subscribers, helps me build this channel. Which brings me to subscribe as well if you would be so kind. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.